deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music, deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest. It's deeper than music, deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music, deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest. It's deeper than music, deeper than music.
What up, what up, what up? This is your man, Furious Deeper Than Music Radio. Behind every great song, there's an even greater story. I like to say what's up to everybody in podcast land, internet land, listening to us via iTunes, iHeartRadio, Cast FM, Spotify, Google Podcast. So today we have a very special guest, Mr. Boss Martinez, who is an indie producer, rapper, based out of Austin, Texas, and also CEO of IE512, and he also supports indie artists, and he does music event productions and also does shows that gives back to the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, we have out of Austin, Texas, Boss Martinez here on Deeper Than Music Radio. How you doing? Boss Martinez.
Good,
oh, okay, we got you, man. How's everything going?
Man, everything's going great right now.
Okay, man, we glad to have you here on Deeper Than Music Radio, based out of Austin, Texas. So I guess my first question is, when did you know that you wanted to be an artist and you wanted to pursue a career in music?
I just recently found out that I wanted to be one, but I've always been into the music since I was a kid. I would always walk around the house, you know, either singing something, rapping something, or doing something, you know. And my mom said one day, you know, you're gonna be an artist. You're gonna be somebody with it, you know. And I even got an award as a kid in first grade for music. You know, I've always been in tune into music because of my family as well. My uncle, you know, Martinez, you know, he was a singer in his life, and you know, it just, you know, inspired me throughout my life. And my dad and my brother and my cousins, always at the keyboards, guitars, and everything, you know, just growing up around the music, just, it's always attracted me. And it really wasn't until I met my producer, you know, Chino, and, you know, what he was coming with really, you know, got my mind onto something. And he had asked me if I had ever thought about investing into music. And I was like, nah, you know, my life was different. My life was to the streets. You know, I wasn't into any of that, you know. I'd support anybody, but it caught my interest with what I heard, and it, you know, it changed my life. You know what I'm saying? It really put me on a different path out there.
Okay, I hear. So you have come from a musical family, and I guess it was people around you that let you know, like, hey, you got this other talent. Why don't you go this other route? But it was always there. Just out of curiosity, do you remember the first rap that you ever wrote?
Yeah, one of the first songs that I actually wrote that, man, honestly, nobody would even get on the track with me. Every time I'd ask my boys, I'd be, hey, like, what's good? You know, let me hop on the track. They'd be like, nah, you know, work on your own track. I wasn't really hot with what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I was just learning. But one of the first tracks was, it was called Get My Money. Mm-hmm. And I wrote it in 2009. And didn't release it until 2010 through Bungalow Universal.
Okay.
And that was the first time we went digital. We went digital in 2010, very, very ahead of the time. Everybody was still into CDs and whatnot. And I was out there making moves, you know, trying to get it somewhere else, get it heard the way it needed to be. And eventually it did.
Okay. Yeah, and I forgot to mention that IE stands for Intense Entertainment. So who are your influences musically? Like who influences you, like when you create, or who do you like, what artists you like, man, they really got something? Like, who are your influences?
Man, honestly, like, I grew up watching a lot of movies, you know, about music and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Bombo was one of the ones. Richie Valens, you know, he inspired me a lot in watching his story. You know, Johnny Cash, you name it, you know, a lot of these artists, you know, it took them somewhere to be where they're at, to get there, and just watching them do something with their lives. Coming from wherever they came from, it wasn't only music, you know, people that were in music that inspired me. It was just business, period. You know, I come from a family of, of being poor, struggling, getting what you needed to get, my father as well, my mom, the hard struggle they had growing up. And it's just that ambition that I've always had to want to do something. And this is what really caught me up to do something in my life, to help out and give back, for everything that I've taken in this life of mine that I lived before,
Yeah. So, and then, like, so you took it from being an artist, and how was the genesis of you from being an artist? What was the transition that led you to actually also being a CEO of Intense Entertainment?
Well, when we first started this company up, like I said, my producer Chino inspired me in doing this. The problem was in the end, I had to separate the real from the lies, There was a lot of stuff that wasn't going on the way that I wanted it to be, and I didn't mind other artists' opinions or anything, but this is a company I started. This is something that I'm going to push.
Yeah.
It was here for me when it was first coming up. But he saw what I had to do to get it to where it is.
Yeah. And,
and
the
I
cool
put
thing
in this hard work.
Yeah. So basically you realize, like you said, the real from the fake. Unfortunately, entertainment industry is all glamorous, but like you said, you got to work, and it seems like you develop that instinct. Like, look, I got to hustle. I got to make it on my own, and I got to create my own. How, as far as giving back, what do you do, and what is your way of giving back to the community?
Well, even back to that then, when I first took on my deal in 2009 with Bungalow Records and Universal, I didn't keep it for myself. I seen it as being blessed with the gift and, using this gift and putting other artists on to help get them out there. Yeah. But even then, it still let me down, nobody was really into the marketing. Like I said, I was very ahead at the time, and everybody still wanted their own album, their own CDs, and they didn't understand that the movement had to be done together. If we're doing this together, why not go all together, compilations and all? That was my vision of it. When we went and performed, we performed together. When we came out as a team, we came out together. We didn't stay doing local shows. I put them on tours, city to city, state to state. I try to show them a different vision in this. And that was because I've always been inspired that if I'm going to do something, go big and keep going as far as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you know what? Like you said, that is, you're thinking at the time, and still is ahead of the game. And even if you look like groups of like the Saint Lunatics, Wu-Tang, like RZA had it, like the way he moved, that's the ideal situation, and the vision that you have as well is like, look, there's a method to the madness. And I mean, that's something well to be spoken about you. So I actually have a song of yours queued up called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Can you give us the story behind this song before we play it?
Man, the title tells it all, man. It's my whole struggle of what it took to get there, that blood, sweat, and tears that we all put in. I mean, it's not just for me in my life. I mean, I'm talking about life in general, what it takes for anybody to be where they're at. And that struggle that you put behind it, and that strive and that drive and that ambition to get what you want.
Yeah. All right, so here we go with our special guest, Boss Martinez, his song Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which is basically autobiographical. I'm sorry, man, I'm over here messing up words. Autobiographical story of his hustle. All right, here on Deeper Than Music Radio.
Heartaches and pain help me fight to survive. Push to the edge every day of my life. Can't give up now, the devil's a lie. God gave me glory, my glory shall reign. Blood, sweat, and tears. For my family I'm praying. Blood, sweat, and tears. For my family I'm crazy. Blood, sweat, and tears. For my family I'm slain. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of striving. Trying to get it. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this for my family. I got to get it. I need to get it for my family. It's for my family. It's for my family. I'm tired of risking my life every day, every second and minute, just for the penny. I'm trying to move up in this world for my kids, so they kids and they kids can live life with no worries. Took on the road overhead, it's so jagged and ragged. It left my feet bleeding and scorning. Took on this life, not heeding the warning. Selling the fire, I'm burning and burning. I'm hard for the streets, I stay earning and learning. And making the money however it came. Running the streets like the blood in my veins. Sick and so cold like the Joker insane. Gotta keep my composure, stay focused and trained. Nobody will give it or hand it out to me. For my family, it's for my family. Blood, sweat, and tears, I stay fighting for mine. Heartaches and pain help me fight to survive. Push to the edge every day of my life. Can't give up now, the devil's a lie. God gave me glory, my glory shall reign. Blood, sweat, and tears, for my family I'm praying. Blood, sweat, and tears, for my family I'm crazy. Blood, sweat, and tears, for my family I'm slaying.
Cansado sufriendo, cansado de la lucha en las calles, esforzando, cansado de mover tanto jale. Por mi familia la quiero, tú sabes, ya tú sabes. Por mi familia me muero, tú sabes.
Pirateando en las calles, haciendo desmadre, moviendo pesado, valiéndome madre.
I don't care what I did, no feelings or morals.
In this life that I live, get turned and get crucial. To me it was business and business as usual. Surrounded by goons in this life of seclusion. No trust in this world, no trust in these people. The ones closest to you are plotting and scheming. Onto my knees, I beg you, Lord, please show me the glory and let me be free of all of these worries and all that you see. I'm risking my life to live and provide. Por mi familia, mis riesgos I hide. Por mi familia, me muero I die. Por mi familia, por mi familia, por mi familia. Just know that when a man has to live looking over his shoulders, he's not living right. And he will never live right until he gets it right. Por mi familia, por mi familia. Blood, sweat, and tears, I stay fighting for mine. Heartaches and pain help me fight to survive. Push to the edge every day of my life. Can't give up now, the devil's a lie. God gave me glory, my glory shall reign. Blood, sweat, and tears, for my family I'm praying. Blood, sweat, and tears, for my family I'm crazy. Blood, sweat, and tears, for my family I'm slaying.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boss Martinez, Blood, Sweat, and Tears here on Deeper Than Music Radio. Man, I love that jam, man. I love that jam. And
yeah.
One thing that you stressed that I really like is you stressed your hustle, keeping it business, and the main thing you stress and the theme that I've been hearing is family. You're all about the family and you're all about the unit. And that's something that you really rarely see, especially now in these divided times, man. I got to applaud you for that. I definitely got to applaud you for that.
Take that. Real talk.
So, in your career, I'm going to ask you two questions from an artist perspective and then also from being a CEO of your label. As an artist, what has been your biggest struggle?
Man, driving that attention your way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The push, because I don't want to feel like I need to depend on anybody. You know, so it's really, getting your music out there, not only that, trying to get on as many shows as you possibly can and investing behind yourself, you know. But I mean, if you want it, you got to get it however you can.
Yeah. And you also said something that I gotta like what people don't realize is and especially now, I think it's funny because you mentioned back before the digital age. I mean, you had to go and sell your CDs. I mean, I remember like with me, I had to go co-sign. You had to go to the record stores. You had to sell things out of your trunk. And now digitally, you're able to reach people that you couldn't before. And there's a lot of technologies and tools available to you. And a lot of people have a misconception that, like, especially with indie labels, and I'm pretty sure you experienced this from a CEO perspective, is you still have to do work, if not more. There's a movement behind it. Things don't happen overnight. And you spoke to that earlier. Like there's a process, a method to the madness. And I guess from a CEO's perspective, what has been the biggest struggle with running your own movement?
Man, where do I begin? Honestly, I mean, everything. From a CEO's point of view, you have to be patient. Patience patience, I promise you, is a virtue. Because you have all your artists coming up to you saying they ready, they hungry, that we need to do something, we got to this, man, these fools are shining, this, that, and the other. It's like, because they're so hungry, they get impatient. You know, I'm like, by all means, you know, if you think that your movement can be faster on your own, so be it. I'm not here to stop you. I'm just here to help you how I can on my end. I guarantee you this, with everything I'm doing, though, I'm touching and I'm making a ruckus behind it. Everything. Especially with the people that support me and that got me out there and that have helped open a lot of doors for me out there and continuously stand behind me and support me. Man, I salute all of them. You know, every South by Southwest, man, it started with us just getting on the shows and just walking out there and trying to watch the other headliners, and that's what it was. And, you know, it wasn't until I ran into a whole group of DJs known as the Shadyville DJs, DJ Amaze, and his other crew out from Boston, Philly, you know, the whole East Coast, Midwest area, you know what I'm saying? These cats came up at a big they put us on, and they were, you know, after that, you know what? This is our city. People are coming into our city. We need to show them what it is here. We need to welcome them. We need to have our own showcases. Yeah. So it took learning the process and getting in with these clubs and getting in with these owners and, you know, trying to negotiate it. You know what I'm saying? But it did get tough on us too, you know, out here as promoters, because a lot of these owners wanted to be renting their clubs out 100,000, 200,000, 50,000, and it's like, damn, you know, you got to bring somebody big just to bring that cut back.
Yeah, to recoup.
So you sitting there, you're like, man, what do I do? So you try to do something outside of the city, but that's the problem, though. And nobody supports those other shows. Everybody just wants to be in the downtown area. South by Southwest isn't just 6th Street or Rainey Street. South by Southwest is Austin.
Yeah.
And the diversity of the whole city, in the hoods, everywhere, wherever they're hosting showcases. Go out and show love. Go out there. Check it out. You're going to see some good talent wherever you go. There's a lot of good talent coming out the city, but there's a lot of other states and people from around the world that come out here to get on these showcases. And sometimes those are the only showcases they can get on because they're being charged too much just to get a pass at the stage.
Yeah, yeah.
And it makes it hard and impossible for a lot of these artists to do it. So when we see them, we open up that door, we cut them in, we let them perform, we let them do whatever. You know, sometimes it's a fee. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we can't take that away from these other cats, but we're not trying to mash them upside the head either. We're here to build opportunity and create opportunity for others continuously.
Yeah, and that's good. I like the fact that you understand, and I think especially with a lot of these younger artists, I tell people it's all about power networking, and it's all about building bridges. I mean, you can't do it on your own. And what I see a lot of times from an artist perspective, from even doing the radio show, sometimes it's a me mentality, and you have to build networks. You can't just be an island. You know, like you said, people want to come to Austin to get that recognition, to get some of that shine, and you recognize, hey, we'll give them shine, but we also got to network and build a web. And I mean, you can pretty much vouch for that. That goes a long way, especially in business, creating networks.
And it does. You know, a lot of people take it positive and a lot of people take it negative, because a lot of people will be on that end that, oh, you don't want to work with me. Oh, you think you too hard. It ain't even about that. We get thousands of people that call us for South by Southwest. We get a lot of major companies now that call us to back them up for South by Southwest, because they watch our work ethics. They watch what we do. They watch how we get out there. They watch how we try to put everything together. Yeah. And they back it up. And that's how I got to meet a lot of these great crews that have come out here. You know, and I've linked up with a lot of great people, you know?
Yeah.
And due to a lot of relationships from other people in the past that have brought them to me, you know, they lead them the right way. And they're like, look, this is the man right here in the city. And he can help create that for you. And I can. If your budget is right, if everything that you got is right, you know what I'm saying? Come on, let's get this.
Yeah,
It's going to cost to put something on. And if it's going to cost, I'd rather stick to doing something big. But it doesn't mean that I'm only going to focus on big. I'm going to give the smaller ones an opportunity too, the ones that want to get out there and breathe some of this air. You know, I'm not taking this away from nobody. It's here for everybody. Producers, engineers, promoters, entrepreneurs, hosts, anybody, DJs. Come out. Come see what IE512 is about. Come see how we put the city on.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. A lot of people don't believe in that, man. And it's all like one of my friends said, it's all about contacts and contracts. You know, matter of fact, he named his album that, Contacts and Contracts. So now we got another one of your songs, and I don't want to mess the song up. The title is Mariposa. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the...
It's Mariposa, which means butterfly.
Okay,
But
okay.
It's based under Mariposa venenosa, which is a poisonous butterfly. And
wow.
What this poisonous butterfly is, it's relating to how a man puts in all his time and everything behind a woman that just uses him just as much as women have songs about men that they say that the man uses them.
Yeah.
You know, fall under that category too. You know, when we're giving in and we putting in our, in our lives for this female, and it is what it is. She does what she does. So, that's what the song's about. Just reach out to all of that.
Man, yo, that's deep, man. So, I like that, man. So here we go. We're going to get into the Poisonous Butterfly here with Boss Martinez here on Deeper Than Music Radio.
Mariposa venenosa, oh, tú eres una mentirosa. Mentirosa. Mariposa venenosa, oh, tú eres una mentirosa. Mentirosa. Mariposa venenosa, eres mentirosa. You say one thing y mañana es otra cosa. Eres bien celosa, mujer envidiosa. You think you're the shit, eres bien vanidosa. No sé cómo voy a amarte, yo tengo que dejarte, tengo que olvidarte, mi corazón quebrarte. I give you the world, I give you my love, I made you my girl, and you it all up, yeah. Use a lie, use a fib, you dramatical. Always on some other shit, use an obstacle. Little on that trill, man, use a monocle. Cause see right through your lies, they're phenomenal. You community, you can't even hold on to yours. Pass the wire, panties on the floor. No other life but to be. La vida hay que echarle ojo por raza. Venenosa, oh, tú eres una mentirosa. Mentirosa. Mariposa venenosa, oh, tú eres una mentirosa. Mentirosa. Tell me why all these women lie. You can buy them what they need, but it really what they want. You can buy them a rose, you can buy them new clothes, but always and that's just how it goes. Mira nomás, tan chiclosa, bien lujosa. Esta mujer está pero loca. El dinero la hace mañosa, tan venenosa, una serpiente. Como a Eva le miente la mente. Prueba esta fruta que te da vida, pero te deja con una herida. Puras mentiras, amor ya no existe. Qué triste que fuiste la culpa. Mentirosa, venenosa, ya te dije que tú eres una mariposa venenosa, oh, tú eres una mentirosa. Mentirosa. Mariposa venenosa, oh, tú eres una mentirosa. Mentirosa.
And you heard it there, Boss Martinez, Deeper Than Music Radio. So, what type of things do you do to give back to the community?
Oh, man. Well, I was in a big accident, man. I was in a huge accident in 2005 that put me in a wheelchair. I got hit by an 18-wheeler. It was a bad car accident.
Wow.
It caused a lot of damage to me. You know what I'm saying? And I was pretty much out of there. At that point, and I had to pull myself out of it, and I did. I had the support of my wife, and some family members there that stuck themselves out there for me, to help get me up. And I had, a good friend, which he's my compadre. He's one of my artists also. Mo Yola, he stood by my side also around that time. And after that, it was watching everything just fall apart. So when I fell back to the neighborhood, the house that I grew up in, my mom and my dad, they were still living here, and I helped them, so we can find them another place and everything, something better. And I moved back to the neighborhood and helped clean it up.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that the same school that was in this neighborhood is a school that I went to since pre-K, and I wasn't aware that there was no community involvement. So my kids start going to the school, and around one of the seasons, we go out there to go see the festival that they're having. I'm excited about it because I remember as a kid and nothing, no volunteers, no community involvement, nothing. So I talked to the PTA president. I'm like, what's this? They're like, this is what it is. Nobody comes out and supports anymore. Nobody comes and does anything anymore. There was no kids. There was nothing. There wasn't even a staff member there to help with anything, to try to at least do something.
Wow.
And I couldn't bear to see that. So I felt that accident brought me back to the neighborhood for a reason. And I heard God talking to me, and I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm meant to do. So I started putting in for the school, and me and my wife, we went and got quite a few sponsors put together, and we created this festival for this school. We created something for them by bringing in boots, dunking boots, clowns, face painting, henna tattooing. You name it. We put in 8 booths ourselves. And all this money that was created from this festival and all these ticket sales, and we even got our DJ out there to do a huge cakewalk. And we did all of this, and we helped create financial means for this school. And all the financial means that we help create through the PTAs and whatnot goes into help funding for after-school programs, educational field trips, and any educational necessities the schools may need.
Yeah.
And it's an involvement that we continuously stay doing so we can support the school in our neighborhood. Not only that, the kids.
Yeah. And you know what? That's good that you do that, man, because I've been paying attention to what's going on. In Los Angeles, they're having riots, and then it's funny how I've just learned, or just recently doing research, and you find out, of course, taxes goes into schools, school taxes, and finding out how when lower income housing or housing in the hood, how because they don't get money, how it affects, like, one of the things that they take away, of course, is music or after school programs or programs of the arts, which makes no sense because, like you and me, music was our escape, right? Music was that difference between, us getting into deeper trouble or, doing what we do. And I applaud you for that, giving back to the community because, like, I assume like you and me, we're both fathers, right? So we pay attention to what our kids do and what our kids listen to, which leads to my next question. How do you feel about the current state of urban music right now?
I support anything that's music, man. Whether I'm feeling it or not, I support just the ambition and the hard work that the artist and the producer are putting behind. They're putting it out there for somebody to like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Regardless if I like it or not, somebody else does, and it works for that artist. So, I support that. It may not be something that I like, but somebody else does, and it creates a movement.
You support the hustle and ambition. I guess my only issue is like the focal point. That's why I really kind of turned away from radio. The focal point isn't like back during the golden age, as far as the positivity aspect of it. I mean, for every Little Kim you had a Queen Latifah, or you had somebody to kind of, okay, this is that side, but then there was kind of a counter. You know what I mean? As far as a positive spin on it. But no, you're right.
There's always pros and cons, because when music was even changing in our times, it was becoming more vulgar.
Yeah.
Back then, hip hop in the early 80s, I mean, that it was all clean hip hop. It wasn't vulgar, it wasn't anything. And then 2 Live Crew and them changed all of that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the freedom of speech. So then everybody was just on, whatever they were on, and, it became what it was, and it built it to what it is today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's change in everything, in every decade or whatnot.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, there's always, things evolve, things change, and you can't stop change. So going back to your early days, what was that epiphany? Because I know you had mentioned that before, your homeboys and people were like, you should do music. They push you to do it. What was that thing that changed your mind? Like, you know what, maybe this, I likened it to where, like, with Puffy and Biggie, Biggie was like, yo, I got to make this money. I'm out here hustling. And then Puffy was like, I'm going to put you on the Bad Boy. And I think at the time he had left Uptown. And I think it was like Biggie was in down in the South about to do this transaction. And Puffy called him and was like, yo, I know we not making this money, but you got to come back up here. I promise you, once you come back up here, your life will change. And he said, like, the next, he left, and the next day he, that place got raided. And even with Russell Simmons was like, before he became a promoter or the beginning of Def Jam, he was out hustling, and something happened. It was like a moment, like, yo, this life that I have now has an expiration date. Let me give this music this promotion thing a try. Like, what was your moment like, man, this music thing, I either got one or two roads?
My epiphany was when I first met my producer, I couldn't believe that he did the music. I told him, man, you downloaded that. Like, yeah. Real talk, I could not believe he did that beat, but then he explained to me that he had been playing the piano for some odd years, It was something that he grew up as, doing as a kid, to a teenager. And, he turned that into becoming a producer and making beats, So when I heard that sound, it caught my ears. And this was in 2007, and I was still recuperating. I had just had surgery on my quad. I had ripped 90% of my quad.
Wow.
And actually caused a lot of damage to my body, and that's why, I was in a wheelchair. But I pushed past all of that, and when I met him, it inspired me into the music, but that still wasn't my epiphany yet. I still wanted to say I wasn't a person that was just going to believe that it was happening because it was going on at the time.
Yeah.
So at that time, as we're building up crews, bringing in everything, we're about 40 deep everywhere. I saw the greed and everything amongst everybody. I'm like, I'm not trying to back this up. I'm not trying to support this.
Yeah.
So I let go of all of that. And then I started, this was in 2007. And towards the end of 2007, we actually did our first video it was in 2008, in early 2008, we did our first video that made it to World Star Hip Hop at the time. And with that song, that was a whole new crew, a whole new everything. After that, we were just doing music in one of the rooms I had in my house with the microphone in the middle of the room, and just a simple computer, whatnot, and a little mixing board. So I told the guys, if I see something happen with this and I feel that the energy is, going to be that positive, I'll build us a studio. And I did that. I built us our own studio and everything. But by that time, when that was happening, everything was crumbling again. A lot of indifferences, a lot of greed, a lot of he said, she said. So, I got away from all of that. So here I am, 2009, with nothing and nobody, a whole studio, all new equipment, and it's just me. So I'm like, you know what? God put me in here for a reason. And I sat here and I prayed to him and I asked him. After that, I learned how to turn on a computer. I learned Pro Tools. I learned how to record. And after that, I started seeing other little artists that were coming in, and I started working with them. And I kept pushing. And then I'm getting a call from Bungalow Universal, and, you know, they offered me this digital deal, and I was like, you know what? That's my moment right there.
Yeah.
But that still wasn't my epiphany. And then we went digital and released 2010, brought a whole new crew, put them out there. And once again, I stopped everything at that time and kept networking. It wasn't until 2015 that I got my epiphany.
Oh, okay.
In 2015, I was like, this is it. I need to move forward from here. I can't stay behind anymore.
Yeah.
And I wanted it more than that, because at that time I really wanted to let it go, but something big happened to me. You know, and because of people that knew people that they were real tight with me, they brought me in what is now the industry of 808 Mafia, TM 88. You know, and all cats from 808 Mafia came to my house. And here I am hanging around with all these cats, you know what I'm saying? And they're up and coming in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, and they ended up, man, they chilling at my spot. We're going out to eat. I'm showing them a good time down here. So that changed up everything right there. That changed up the relationship real quick. So after that, you know, we tied in good, and, you know, we've been working with each other, and then year after year, it's another company and another major and another major. And that inspired me even more. And one of my boys for over 16 years, that goes by the name of Daniel Cotton, you know, started doing a lot of World Star hip-hop tours. And with that inspired me as well. And then I'm up there on stage with 808 Mafia doing this. And that inspired me even more. Then the following year, I'm with Wu-Tang.
Oh, man. I know that had to be hot right there.
I'm sitting up there with them. Here I am with all, you know, with the clan, and, you know, I'm starting to be introduced to all the members. And then they take me to the CEO, John Mook Gibbons, and, you know, it just starts getting even better and better. And then after that, the following year, we do ACL with Wu-Tang Clan.
Wow.
You know, and, you know, I'm there with the whole clan. You know, and the introduction that was given from the CEO to everybody else, of me to them, you know, who I am here in the state of Texas. And, you know, they have me here as Wu-Tang management, you know. It's an honor.
So for you, it was the you saw the progression, and as you've seen things progress and things materialize, you were bought in, and then that's when you had the epiphany. And I like how you see things not only from an artist, but you see things from a business sense. I tell people, especially artists, it's a music business. You have to know the music, and you have to know the business. And I like how you are grounded in the business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in order for you to make moves, it has to make sense. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just going to jump into something. It's like, wait a minute. It has to make sense, and there has to be a method to the madness.
Most definitely. Like, you have to take it like that. You know, if people won't take you serious.
Yeah.
You got to treat everything like a business. I mean, that's what I've learned in life. If you want to progress and make anything out of it, you got to treat it like a business, because it is, at the end of the day. If you got a label, you're a business.
Yep. Yeah, man. There was a book that I bought, and I still have to this day. I get the updated chapters. It's called This Business of Music. And it says, like, if you're capable of making money, generating revenue, you are a business, and you have to treat it as such. And we hear the story far too many times. Like, I hate using LaFace Records as an example, but the TLC stories, the Tony Braxton stories, how if you don't have the business sense of it, you know, at the end of the day, it can be costly. And I like how you paid attention. You said, okay, I seen, like, we made this move and then this crumbled, but I kept on with it, but with a cautionary eye. So I guess my next question, from an artist perspective and from a CEO perspective, to a listener that may listen to this show and be like, man, you know, I like where, you know, I look up to Boss Martinez and I want to be just like him. What advice would you give somebody that aspires to be in your position in this industry?
Man, patience. I cease to meet an artist that is patient. It's because they see the drive, they see this, they see everything happening, and they just want it too fast. Slow down, slow down. It'll come to you, and it'll come. Trust me. Like I said, I wrote a track in 2009, and by 2018, at the beginning of the year, Warner Brothers had it playing on Fox's hit TV show Lethal Weapon, and we opened up that year for it. It took 9 years for that song to get somewhere, but it did. So patience is one of the biggest things that I can share with any artist, producer, engineer, anybody. If you have that sound, I promise you, if you're pushing it the way you need to, somebody's going to hear it. And when that somebody hears it, that's going to be your time. And then when it's your time, you better be ready. Like, real talk. You better be ready, because then everything else starts coming with it.
Yep.
Don't get overwhelmed by it. Get ambitious about it. And let that feed you to keep you pushing.
Yeah. No, that's good advice. So, as with all great interviews, man, they go by so fast. We got 3 minutes and 21 seconds left, so I'm gonna ask you like the final two questions. At the end of the day, when all's said and done, what do you want people to remember? Like, what do you want your musical legacy to be? Like, when they speak of Boss Martinez, what do you want that to be? And then the last question is shameless promotion time. Like, where are you on social media? What's the next move? How could people that hear this great music and like, man, where can I get more? Where could they find out that information on you on social media?
Well, the first thing I could tell people is watch and learn. Stay focused. Be patient. It'll come to you if it's meant to come to you. Don't give up.
Yep.
Second, man, IE512, I'm taking it to the top. I'm getting it to the levels that it needs to be. And real quick, off of whatever you had told me right now, I just want to salute 737 Studios. I want to salute 808 Mafia, TM88, all your success that you got going on. My affiliates, MyMixTapes, Wu-Tang Clan, Protect Your Neck Records, to the tour that we got going on, to the whole IE family, to my wife, to my kids, to everybody that's ever supported me, to all the community and the schools that we've worked with. We're going to continue staying there with you guys and giving everything that we possibly can for you. To all the booster clubs, to all the sports teams out there, I salute every single one of y'all. We're here to help out the community and to give back 100%.
Okay. And actually, we're going to add, we didn't get to play all your music, but I'm adding it to the rotation. We have a segment called New Music on Deeper Than Music Radio, so we'll be adding your music to our mix. You gave us 3 singles. Thank you, Boss Martinez, for being on the show, telling us your story, the story behind the music. I definitely want to get up with you, man. I'm actually in the DFW area myself, but I'm going to start a new series where we go on location and interview live and direct on TV. We're doing a docu-series, Deeper Than Music Radio, so we'll definitely have you on there. Anything else you want to say before we close out the show?
Yes, you can find all our music on Amazon. We have 2 albums out there, one under Intense Entertainment, the other one under The Life of a Boss, Chapter 1. We're on every major digital outlet, every major digital downloadable outlet, Shazam, you name it, we're out there, we're on it. Website, www.ie512.com.
And there you have it, Boss Martinez here on Deeper Than Music Radio.
Cheers.
In my mind, find a time to relax, kick back. As this track plays, yesterday seemed miles away, could've stayed. Had to gather my things, catch the train of thought, spark the vision. Better living, given the chance, enhance this dream, make it seem true indeed. Leave a waste of space so I can chase venue.